Hey everybody, we're going live again. Just here to answer questions about government contracting. You know, going live is one of the best things because I get all these interesting people in here that come into the room and have questions and ask questions. And really, people asking questions is one of the best ways that I can give information to people. You know, you guys are great, and you guys ask questions that I never ever would have thought of or would have thought that anybody would have wanted information on. So that is one of the best things about being live with you guys, is that I get all these interesting people, and from all different levels of government contracting, to people that have never heard of it, to people that are doing it actively, even, you know, we've got some contracting officers that come visit sometimes and ask questions or can give us info. So we got all kinds of interesting people. So please, we're here to talk about government contracting. I've been a government contractor since 2018. And I've been a government contractor since 2018. And I've got 4 different companies that do contracts for the government. So anything from firefighting to remediation to construction to, we've gotten recently in the last year into doing fencing jobs and doing like grazing allotments for Bureau of Land Management, selling products, shipping all over the United States. I do bid on jobs all over the world. So, you know, the grasp on government contracting, I've got a pretty good handle on it. I haven't done absolutely everything. I stay away from stuff that has to do with weapons or anything that could potentially hurt somebody. So I really don't have any information on that. But please, we got some people in the room here. Start asking some questions, you guys. What do you guys want to know about government contracting? You know, it's kind of this thing where people assume it's tough, it's hard to get into. It's kind of scary when you think of doing contracts for the federal government, and I can assure you it's completely the opposite. The federal government is actually really easy to work for and really easygoing. Probably one of the most easygoing clients that I've ever had. You know, I've worked for state entities like municipalities and cities, and working just for private people. So, you know, there's so much to go. Strawberry, hey Nick. You're feeling discouraged. Any words of encouragement? Most definitely, Strawberry. So, let me get rid of my gum here. So Strawberry just asked, they said they're feeling discouraged and they're looking for some words of encouragement. Are you feeling discouraged, Strawberry, because you've been bidding on contracts and haven't landed them, or are you just feeling discouraged in life? Either way, I can tell you this, you know, so just to put it in perspective, I've probably had in my life, I'm 39 years old, and I've probably had 30 different businesses. I haven't kept count. I've probably had 30 different businesses in my life. And, you know, a lot of them, I don't like using the word failed, but didn't work out. And I'm not saying that this isn't going to work out, because that's not what I'm saying. What I'm getting at is that every one of those times that something didn't work out, and it's the same with bidding on contracts, every time one of those didn't work out, and you might not be able to see it at the time, it's the same thing with life. When there's things that don't go your way, or, you know, you have this plan and this is exactly what's going to happen, and it doesn't go your way, it is really easy to get discouraged. Trust me, I know. But all of those times are all learning experiences, and at some point, all the knowledge and all the things that happen to you and happen throughout life all culminate to one big thing, and you kind of at some point you're going to look and you're going to go, oh, holy cow, that's why that happened. I mean, I kind of came to that realization here really solidly. I mean, I've kind of known it for a while, but really solidly here in the last couple months. There's a lot of things like I didn't, I was adopted and I was raised by, my father. I was adopted by my father. So my biological mother was in my life, but my father, I didn't know my biological father, my birth father. So to get to it though, he treated me a little bit differently than his actual biological children, which my mother and him had more kids. So he adopted me when I was 1, and I look back now and he was very favorable to both of those kids. And unfortunately, my brother, who is one of my best friends in the world, my younger brother, he passed away a couple years ago in a freak accident. But my sister, on the other hand, was babied and didn't ever have to do anything and was just treated like a princess her whole life. Now that I look back, and even though when I was a kid and even not that long ago, I was like really upset about it. I was like, God, why the hell was I treated that way? But without my dad treating me that way, I wouldn't be the person that I am today. So really, when I look at it, I thank him. And he has since passed away a couple years ago, but luckily him and I had a great relationship when he did before he passed away. Luckily, him and I really just became really, really good friends. And so that was like really good closure for me in my life. But when I look back, I thank him very much for the way that he treated me, because it made me a tough person. It made me not settle. And it made me always strive to be better, because I was trying to impress him, honestly, which was at points was an impossible task. And then as I got older, it was like, holy cow, a couple of times he said, holy cow, Nick, you really get after it. And a lot of that made me who I am. So going back to that feeling discouraged, Strawberry, there's tons of lessons, and I'm not saying you're not ever going to feel bummed out and you're not ever going to feel discouraged, because most definitely you are. We all are. But there is a reason for it, and especially if in your mind you have a path and a focus and you know where you're going in life and there's nothing stopping you from that, the world is going to do things to put you on that path, even though you don't think you have one way that you think that the world's going to put everything together, like, oh, I'm going to invent this thing and I'm going to make $100 million, and you got all these different things, these ideas of exactly how your life's going to play out. That's completely wrong. You kind of just have to go with the flow, and feeling discouraged is part of that. It's what we do when we get discouraged. Either we revert back to our old selves and we stick our head in the sand, or we just keep doing the same things and stay in our comfort zone, or we plow forward and we just keep going. So all I can say, Strawberry, is just keep going. Keep your head up. You're kick-ass. I believe in you 100%. And I know, just as you being another human, like I'm a human, I know you are capable of doing absolutely anything in the world, because everything that's been done before us has been done by another human that started out exactly like us. They just made themselves more valuable by expanding their mind and getting back up when they take their lump. So let's just say that's a little word of encouragement today. Everybody, if you could, that's in here, real quick, tap that screen like absolute crazy. If you tap that screen a whole bunch of times, up here you'll see a little bar get filled up. Tap it as many times as you possibly can. Get that bar filled up, because the more likes we get up there, the more people we get in here, and then the more questions we get like this, which I didn't even know we were going to go down that road, and it just kind of, maybe that was a little motivation for somebody else in here. And then also make sure, if you're not following us, you follow our page. Thank you. Let's see. What else we got going here? Shannon. Hey, Shannon. Hello. Follow Miss Shannon. Huh. Miss Shannon. Looks like an interesting picture on there. I'm 27 and this is my 5th business. Right on, Strawberry. Well, you're 27. You're doing way better than I was. Well, you're doing better than I was at 27. Honestly, I had several businesses at that age, but I was still, I was screwing around a lot until I was about, let's see, 2014. Yeah, 2000. Yeah, about 10 years ago, maybe a little bit more than 10 years ago, I actually started buckling down and trying to expand my mind and trying to learn some stuff and get my shit together, as they would say. Let's see. Follow Miss Shannon. You just got your cage code. Awesome, Miss Shannon. So here's a thing, Shannon. Obviously, you're going through it. So you got your UEI, you got your cage code. So now you need to just go finish the rest of your registration process, which is going to be getting your bank account information in there. They're going to ask you about who's in charge of the company, who's accounts payable, who's able to negotiate contracts, all that different stuff. So you're going to have, an hour or two of going through the rest of that registration process. But here's the nice thing, Shannon. Once you're done with that, you're ready to rock and roll and start bidding on contracts. So awesome. Hats off to you. Everybody that's not privy or is just kind of joining in here, we're talking about government contracting, and Miss Shannon just got her cage code, which there's kind of a few steps when you're becoming a government contractor. First thing, you have to have a business, which means you need to have an EIN. Then you apply for a UEI, which is a unique entity identification number. Then you can get a cage code. Then once you get your cage code, then you can do the rest of your registration process on sam.gov, and then you can start bidding on contracts. And you got to kind of jump through some hoops at first, but once you jump through them, you're done jumping through those hoops. There's more hoops you got to jump through once you start bidding contracts. But the more time you spend doing it, the easier and easier it gets. So don't get discouraged, you guys. Once again, everybody, tap that screen like crazy. Give me some love. Let's get some likes up here. Let's get some more people in here and get some of these really good questions going. So let's see. We got a whole bunch of questions here. Let's go. Let's see. 27, cage code. Thank you for the follow, Miss Shannon. Appreciate that. How long did it take to win your first contract? My first contract... Shannon, it really depends. So my first one was probably the third contract I bid on, but here's the thing. I was willing to work for really cheap, because anybody who might know my backstory, I was working at an auto parts store in 2018 when I got into government contracting. I stumbled across it and I got registered with Sam, and I started bidding stuff while I was at lunch. And on the weekends. So I'd get off work, or I'd have my lunchtime, and I'd be searching for contracts. I found one that had to do with antifreeze, and I bid on that, and I happened to get it. Now my success rate is probably about 10% of what I bid I get, but that's also because, let me back up a little bit. So the first one I got, I was willing to do it for really cheap because I think I was making about $2,200 a month. And I think the first one I made $3,000 on, or something close to that. So that was a big deal that, in a couple hours of work, I made $3,000. So after I did that a couple times, then I quit my job, and I've never ever looked back. But point is, now I bid stuff pretty high just because I'm not going to leave home if I'm doing contracts away from home. Product stuff I will do a little bit cheaper, but I tend to bid stuff pretty high, so I could probably land more jobs if I bid my prices lower, but I'm willing to miss more contracts and make more money when I do land one than make a little bit of money a bunch of times. I'd rather make a bunch of money one time, or two. Sometimes I do 3 contracts a year. Plus we've got firefighting, so that keeps us busy sometimes, a couple months of the year, even sometimes up to 3 months of the year. So it took me probably a month, maybe 3 to 4 weeks, but it really depends, Shannon. I mean, Miss Shannon, you guys will hear me say it a bunch of times. With government contracting, volume is king. So volume being as how many contracts you bid on. So, I always try to, if I want to land something once a month, I'm bidding on 10 contracts a month. So it just kind of depends on what field you're going into, Shannon, because the other thing is here too, is that you're going to have to do, if you're just jumping into it and you're kind of shooting in the dark, let's say you're going to try to sell copy paper to the government. You're going to have to do many case studies and see what paper's going for, right? To figure out where your price needs to be, because maybe you need to find it cheaper. Maybe you need to find a different manufacturer, or maybe you're right in there and you just hit it the first time. So it's really up and down, Shannon, but you got to bid a whole bunch to get them. And the more you bid, the more you learn too. So I hope that answered it. If not, you can re-ask your question if that didn't answer it. Hey, Shannon said, hey, how are you? I'm doing great, Shannon. How are you doing? I just got my cage code. I'm trying to learn how to bid. Yeah, so Shannon, there's some pretty good videos. I'm trying to like get labels on my videos on TikTok, and then I'm going to start putting together some tutorial videos on YouTube. So the other thing is, guys, if you're following us here, I'm also on Facebook. I'm also on Instagram. I'm also on YouTube. And then also we've got a Reddit page, Our Government Contractor. So you do that all one word in Reddit, and it's a forum where I'm trying to get people together and we're asking questions, and it's kind of a question and answer space. So also, Shannon, I'm the reason I just got into doing TikTok and like social media at all 2 months ago. I've never had social media my whole life, and I just started, and it kind of like took off a little bit. So the point is that if you need to, you can always message me either in comments on videos, or you can also direct message me on TikTok or on YouTube or on Facebook or any of those things. You can direct message me, and I'm more than happy to kind of give you some guidance. Not that I'm gonna get back to you instantly, but I do get back to people as of this point. So if you need a little bit of guidance, I can totally give that. And then also, that's what these lives are for, is for people to come ask questions about what they need to do. So one of the big things, real quick, just to go back to Shannon, is anytime you get into a contract, if it's a product contract and you're just reselling products, a lot of time it's going to give you dates for delivery and delivery places, and then give you specs for the product. Just make sure the specs are right. Make sure you can deliver it when they say they want it and where they want it. Now, if you're getting into bigger contracts where you're doing construction or subcontracting or something like that, there's going to be either a section that's instructions to offerors or something like that, and the government's going to spell out very well exactly what they want back from you when you're doing a bid. Corvetta. Hey, Corvetta. Hey, everybody, real quick, I'm going to move down here to more questions right now. But everybody, if you could, go absolutely crazy on your screen and tap your screen like crazy people. Just tap it a whole bunch of times. Let's get those likes up to 2,000. And then also, if you're not following us, make sure you're following us, because I put out 2 videos a day, usually during the week, and they cover all kinds of different stuff. So do you teach middleman contracting? Yeah, Corvetta, I guess I do. It's pretty simple. I can sum it up in very quickly for you. Start looking on sam.gov or on Unison. Look to see what contracts we'll go back to the same thing like I was telling Ms. Shannon. The government wants copy paper, okay? And I would do it in this order. Government wants copy paper. You got 2 weeks till you need to get them a bid. Perfect. Call around and find companies that sell copy paper. Now, you also need to find in that company a company that will give you a corporate account, which means they will give you credit, which means they will give you paper for free and send you the bill later and ship it. Then you get your pricing, send the specs and how much you need and where it needs to go to that company now that you've got a corporate account with them. Once they give you a quote for that, you rewrite the quote with your pricing, adding 10, 20, 30% onto their price, having them deliver it and front the cost, submit it to the government. If the government accepts it, you call back your company, go, yep, deliver the paper. They deliver the paper. You get paid from the government in 30 days. You pay off your bill. Rinse and repeat. That's the quickest thing to say. Shannon, yes, that is correct. I did all of that. I'm working on my capability statement. Yeah, right on, Shannon. Perfect. That's awesome. Yeah, so once again, Shannon's talking about a capability statement. So a capability statement is basically a resume for your company. It just says what you do, what you can do, what you have done, maybe equipment that you have, maybe places you're willing to work, different products you supply, all this different stuff. It's basically your resume. Now, when you start sending contracts out, I always put in the email, I always put in, please also save my capability statement with this contract in case my services are needed later. You won't believe how many contracting officers will actually take your capability statement, stick it in their file, and when they have something that comes up and they go, hey, who is that person that, they sold us the copy paper, but they also sell pens, and they go, oh, it was Miss Shannon. Hey, we got something, we need pens. And they'll send the contract straight to you and ask you for bids, where you don't even have to look at them anymore. So it's like having a resume. And once you do that, if you're sending out 10 bids for contracts a month, then all of a sudden at the end of the year, there's 120 contracting officers that have your capability statement. Soon, I get 5 to 10 emails a day sometimes from contracting officers that I did give my capability statement, and they ask me, hey, are you able to do this? So capability statement is a great thing, and I make sure I send them in all the time. Okay, Shannon, you are welcome. Once you're all set up, should you be set up as a vendor, contractor, or customer? I'm not sure what you mean there, G-Man. You're not a customer of sam.gov. If you're a customer of sam.gov, that means you want things posted on there. I don't remember a place where it asks you what that is. I think it just asks you, are you interested in contract opportunities? Are you interested in federal assistance, things like that. So you want to make sure that you're available for all contract opportunities. Manifest. Hello, Manifest. Let's see. Set up as thank you, Shannon. Shannon says, thank you for your advice. I have a staffing agency, so my NICS code is for temp help services. That's right on, Shannon. Man, that's a huge one. Temp workers and stuff for government contracting on sam.gov are on there like crazy. So you're headed in the right direction. Man, this chick's just got it. I'm assuming you're a chick since you're Miss Shannon, but wow, that's good. I'd like to get into heavy machinery and construction, but have no experience. Any tips? So Strawberry is asking, I'd like to get into heavy machinery and construction, but have no experience. So there's a couple things you could do, Strawberry. You could go, man, this is a tough one. So you could either go find somebody and get hired and start working machinery and learning to do that. You could go possibly bid on some contracts, and man, this is a tough one. I would suggest getting a job with somebody, or even finding somebody who's got a heavy equipment company and go, hey, I'd really like to learn this. Can I come work for you on the weekends and you can teach me to run equipment? Or just going and getting a job doing it. I was lucky to have several mentors when I was younger, and that's what, I grew up kind of in the sticks up in the mountains in a small logging community. So running equipment was just kind of part of life even as a young man. So I always kind of did that. But you know what? There was plenty of jobs that I had, like, once I had the basics down, that I bullshitted and I said I knew how to run the piece of equipment even though I didn't, and then I just figured it out. So I don't necessarily suggest that if you have no experience at all. Another way to do it is, if you want to get into heavy equipment, you can always go rent something. I don't know if you have ample property or somewhere you could go just rent an excavator for a couple days and dig a hole. But any equipment, they're not going to ask you for any licensing. You can go rent a piece of equipment and learn how to run it. If you got somebody that's got property and maybe they'll let you take a dozer out there and just push dirt back and forth, or go rent an excavator and go dig holes and then fill them back in and compact them. That could be a really easy way to do it too. There's also, I think there's still heavy equipment schools where you go to, and obviously you have to pay them, but they're pretty quick courses. I think they're a month or two, and they'll teach you how to run every piece of equipment that possibly they have. I have a buddy that did that. So those are two possible ideas. Hey everybody, once again, tap that screen like crazy. When you start tapping it, a little bar will start filling up here. If you tap it like crazy until that bar is filled, that would be absolutely awesome, and I'd be so grateful to you. Shannon, that's good. Thank you. Thank you so much. You're welcome, Shannon. I hope you're getting some something good out of this. Margaret, I do offer mentorship. So once again, like I said to Miss Shannon, I've said to a bunch of people on here, you can direct message me. I'm on YouTube. I'm on absolutely everything, except for Twitter, I guess, or X and Twitter. I'm new to the social media game. Anyways, you can direct message me here on TikTok, on YouTube, on Facebook, and I'm more than happy for 100% free to give you guidance in the right direction over that. But for phone calls and for Zoom meetings, one-on-one stuff, I do charge my hourly rate, and I'm happy to do that. So I do mentorship like that. I haven't really set up like a monthly thing. I just kind of do stuff by the hour right now in between meetings and things that I've got going on already. So that is something I do. Margaret, thank you for being here. Yeah, so everybody, once again, tap that screen like crazy. And then also, if you're not following, make sure you're following us. Go give me a follow on YouTube too. That would be awesome. And on Facebook. That would be totally awesome. What is your Instagram? Oh, shoot, look who's here. I think, so somebody else runs that one for me, but it is Gov Guy Nick as far as I know. That one I don't, that's the only one I don't run myself. So, but Gov Guy Nick. How do you package products? So Teen Cole is asking how I package products. So it depends on the contract. Thank you for the likes, guys. Make sure you're all tapping that again. Thank you for the follows, Bless, and Hoppy Toppy. Thank you for following. So how do I package products? So if I'm reselling stuff to the government, sometimes in the solicitation, they have certain specs of exactly how stuff's supposed to be packaged. But a lot of the time, they know that the standard way that it comes is the way that it's packaged. I don't repackage anything like with my own packaging or anything. If I'm doing products, I don't think I've ever sold a product to the government that I've touched. I just buy it from another company. Actually, don't even buy it from the other company. I open a corporate account with them. They give me a quote. I give the government a quote. The government buys it from me. I tell them, yep, ship it, get it over there. They ship it, I get paid, I pay them. So I've never repackaged anything. There is time. So actually, when I worked at the auto parts store, they were doing government contracts, and we would do air filters for the government. So we'd order truckloads and truckloads of these air filters, and we would have to renumber them on the packaging. So we'd have to print out numbers because the government uses different numbers than the manufacturer did. That's the only time that I've ever ran into repackaging products. So I don't think that's necessary unless it calls out for it. And for some reason, something you're buying is not packaged correctly. So let's go down here. Okay, packaged products. Let's see. Should you set up a DBA? Manifest, that I don't quite know what you mean by that. Me personally, I've got different companies that I run different stuff under, but for many years I ran everything under one company. I have a firefighting company, and I would do everything under that firefighting company. And then it was easier for taxes and different stuff, and I needed to set up different structures for different companies because I was doing different things. I then set up different companies for that. So I don't quite know what you mean, should you set up a DBA? But I guess you could if you're trying to get registered to be a government contractor, you totally could. Thank you for the follow, Kira. Make sure, everybody, once again, tap that screen like crazy for me. Fill your little bar up there. Let's get 3,000 likes here. Nick Shields, call locals, apply for apprenticeship. I'm assuming, Nick, you're talking to Strawberry, who wants to get into heavy equipment. He's with the local 324 here in Michigan. Gordie Howe Bridge, Detroit. Okay. Margaret, thank you. You're welcome. How did you get into construction for GovCon, Zay? Oh, what's up, Zay? So how did I get into construction? I saw a construction contract, and I knew that I could do it, and I bid on it, and I ended up getting it. And actually, me and a partner of mine a friend of mine partnered up and started another company and just started bidding on them. And any of the other ones, like when we started the fencing company, I didn't know anything about fencing. I'd done like a little bit of fencing when I was a kid. I worked on a cattle ranch, so I'd done a little bit of fencing, but had I ever done 8 miles of it up and over mountains and over rivers and just crazy stuff? No, I never did. But I found somebody who had, another good friend of mine had a fencing company. So I said, hey dude, you want to partner on this? And we ended up partnering, and that's what happened with that. When I did a bunch of warehouse build out stuff. I didn't know anything about it. A buddy of mine had a contractor's license. There was blueprints. I know how to generally read blueprints, and I hired people that knew exactly how to lay everything out and do it. And I just stumbled my way through it and figured it out. It's all a learning process. And then through all that, as you're expanding your mind and learning, you're just becoming a more valuable human being and adding more value to your life. And yeah, I don't know. I can't live any other way. And that's why I love government contracting, because every day there's something different and I'm learning something different. So I love it. Thank you for the follows, you guys. Let's see. How did you get in GovCon? Where do you find products that government wants consistently? So Margaret, basically, I said it earlier, is you're going to want to find the product first on sam.gov or on Unison. Unison is the other government website, but it'll be posted to sam.gov. Unison just makes it so you can get through a little bit easier. But you're going to want to find the products first and then figure out where you can get the corporate accounts. And once you kind of start paying attention and figure out what codes those are under, you can start to see what they sell a whole bunch of. So certain times a year, we've got contracts where we do culverts. We sell them culverts. And certain times a year, usually in the winter, beginning of spring, they start looking for those a lot. So it's just a lot of repetition and staying on the site and looking for stuff is what's going to get you. Manifest. Margaret, thanks for the follow, Margaret. Brandon Smith, you're the man. Brandon, you're the man. Thank you. Okay, cool. What other questions do we have? So once again, we're just good. I'm glad that helped. I'm registered on SAM, but I don't fully understand how to get started. What is the best way to start? So real quick, Randy, you're fully registered. You have a cage code, and you are you've got your UEI, you got your cage code, and you put in your bank information. You got all that registration stuff done. So the first thing I would do is just get familiar with sam.gov. It's kind of a tough site to navigate, but get familiar with it. So that would be the first thing, and it just depends on what industry you're in or what industry you're thinking about getting into. You can look up NAICS codes, which stands for the North American Industry Classification System, and that's going to help you narrow down a little bit what you're looking for. Unfortunately, that doesn't always help, but it kind of will give you at least some contracts in that realm. So yeah, that's where I would start, and then just start getting familiar with SAM and looking to see what kind of stuff you want to do. Makes sense. Patriot says, I have an LLC. Does that help? Yes, Patriots. An LLC is a great start. So since you have that, and I'm assuming you've got an EIN, then you can get onto sam.gov and apply for a UEI. Once you have that, and I think that comes pretty quickly. I don't know if they give that to you instantly now. Then you're going to apply for a cage code. Once you get that, which sometimes takes days or even weeks, then you can finish the registration process with SAM. Okay, you have all that. Then once you're completely registered, you just need to get on and start looking at contracts or products or construction or people or things or whatever, whatever's in your wheelhouse or something that you see that you could do. So one of the first things I always do, which I guess, if you guys give me some love here, give me some likes. Let's get it up to 4,000. I'll do a quick walkthrough for everybody. Does anybody want to see a walkthrough of like how I go search sam.gov? Sam.gov is maddening, Patriots, Goddess. That is 100% true. And actually, a quick little teaser for everybody. I've actually got something coming out here in the next oh, let's hope things are taking a little longer than thought, but I've got a new search program that actually searches SAM for you. And we'll be sending you contracts, helping you bid on contracts. It's this whole program that I designed and I've been working on for like a year. I'm not going to say too much, but it's coming out soon and it's going to completely change government contracting. So make sure you're following us because we've got some big stuff coming out. Make sure you're following us on all the different platforms. If you've got Facebook, if you're on YouTube, make sure you're following us on any of that stuff. So we're going to do a quick, let's get this all set up here. And I'm going to do a quick rundown. Hey, we're supposed to get up to 4,000 here, you guys. Come on. I'm going to do a quick camera flip. Okay. So, here we are on sam.gov. This is the very first thing you're going to see when you put in sam.gov, right? Here we go, sam.gov. This is the first thing you're going to see. Now, there's so many different things to sam.gov. They've got contract data, wage determinations, federal hierarchies, assistance listings, entity information, entity reporting. So now some of these you will not be allowed to access unless you're signed in and you have an account. But contract opportunities, what we're interested in, is something you could look at. So getting in here gets you into this very silly search bar. So this is not the search engine that you want to use. And really any search engines are, sam.gov is very frustrating. And I hear that constantly, Patriots. So you are not alone. Once again, that's why we're coming up with something way, way better. So anyways, what I do to get into the main search is I literally put in any letter in the alphabet and just put in one letter and hit search. Now that is going to bring us into this filter over to the side in the simple search, and it's going to come back with nothing. But we're on the right page now. This is the easiest way to get into this page. So I'm going to come over here to the keyword search, and I'm going to just get rid of that letter. So now I've got nothing going on, right? And you've got all these different drop downs over here that you can filter your contracts by. The very first one we want to filter by, because they don't delete stuff in sam.gov, is dates. So we want to see any contracts that are due in the next 3 months. That means anything that is past due or has closed already, we're not ever going to see. Okay? That's the first thing you want to do, because if you don't do that and you start looking stuff up, it's going to show you contracts that are still stuck in here from 2017. And trust me, I've done it when I first started. You're going to spend hours and hours and hours researching this contract, and then just to come to find out that it closed 2 years ago. So that's the very first thing. That's the first tip and trick. I always go 3 months because they usually don't put stuff out that long, but in case there is something that's got a long close date, then I can see it. So now we can see there's 9,652 contracts that are active in the next couple months. So now that we've got that, you can literally, if you don't know what kind of contracts you're going off after, you can literally go down and look for stuff that jumps out at you. And that's really, I did that for years and years, and that's where I've made a lot of money just looking at things because I'm versatile, right? Install 2 water well pumps. Now, I have never done that, but I guarantee I can figure out how to put in 2 water well pumps. Yes, there's a bunch of piping and there's a bunch of wiring and stuff. I've seen it done before because I grew up on really deep wells, and I've been around drilling them, but I've never done it myself. I've watched it be done, and I've watched them replace water pumps. So there's something that technically you could jump into and start looking at, right? So we'll just pretend like, yep, I'm going to maybe go after this, install 2 well pumps. Now, this is literally just put them in. So I think they have them already. So as we come down, the first things is you want to make sure it's not too far out. So as we come down, you want to look at the date offers are due. So this is due on the 22nd of April, which means We've got, what is that, 14? You had about 2 weeks, a little bit less than 2 weeks to, you got about 2 weeks before this is due. So is that enough time to figure out and get all your stuff together? Yeah, most definitely. So that's the first thing I check, and I go, okay, that's enough time for me to figure out pricing. I'm going to move on, and I'm going to put more energy into this contract. The next thing I'm going to look at is I'm going to look at the set-asides. Now, a lot of the time it's small business set-asides. This happens to be a service-disabled, veteran-owned small business. So unless you're a disabled veteran, you are not allowed to bid on this. So that's the second thing I'm going to look at to make sure that I'm qualified before I spend any of my precious time looking at a contract. So as I go down, so let's pretend that I am a service-disabled veteran. So, okay, I checked the box there. I'm ready to go. So this is going to be under the NAICS code 221310 for water supply and irrigation systems. Now, the one thing I'm going to say about NAICS codes and how they classify stuff, it's completely up to the contracting officer to it's completely up to them to put that code with whatever they feel like. So just because that's the code they use doesn't mean that that's necessarily the right code. They just chose a code. So sometimes if you're always looking for water well pumps, it might not be under this. It might be under, you never know. I've seen crazy stuff. You know, the last one we bid on a big job in Guam that was for pressure washing, and they put the NAICS code under it as bridge builders. So unless you had the NAICS code that you were a bridge builder, you would have never ever found that contract. If you were a pressure washer and you had certain NAICS code you were searching for, you would have never found it. So that's another maddening thing about SAM.gov is if they don't put the right NAICS code under there, you are kind of at their mercy. So that's, once again, another search engine that we're developing so that you can kind of negate all that. So then going back down, it kind of just gives you a quick description here. Sometimes it's long, sometimes it's quick. Guadalupe Mountains National Park wants install of 2 well pumps. And as we go down, there's attachments and links. And this is all the meat and potatoes of everything, right? Wage determinations. Usually when you go down, the scope of work document is the document that's going to have the main information about what they want you to do. Amendments are anything that they've changed during the contract, and then questions or answers are obviously questions that have been asked by contractors already, and these are the answers that get posted. Once again, you come down, usually there's a primary point of contact. This happens to be Samuel. It gives a email address for him and a phone number, and sometimes they put a secondary. So that's good to know when you are submitting questions, who you can submit them to, and sometimes you can even call them and get them to answer the phone. So that was a quick rundown on SAM.gov. And as you go back, once again, stuff's going to change because we're looking. So look, just in the last however long we've been doing that, there has been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 contracts have been posted since we just got into that page for 5 minutes or whatever. It was probably less than 5 minutes. So like I said, stuff is just coming like hotcakes. Pre-assembled fiberglass equipment shelters. Those are probably like those old kind of looking, I'm guessing, let's see, infrastructure law bill reports funds. So yeah, like lawnmower, little sheds for the side, janitorial, hydraulic mule, janitorial services. These are all over the place. Janitorial is probably one of the biggest things that I see on SAM.gov. So just going down, that's how you could just kind of pick and choose and go, I could do janitorial, or I could sub out janitorial. So you could do it this way and just cruise through to kind of see, especially if you don't know what you want to do. A lot of this is products, elevator upgrades. You know, it just kind of depends what wheelhouse you're in. Meditation pods, interesting. That could be an interesting one. So then also, if you are going to go and you do know a NAICS code that you want to use, you're going to want to go to under products and services, and this is where you can put in a NAICS code. Like I do a lot of 562 stuff, which is waste management and remediation. And this is all like hazardous material cleanups and anything that fits under that stuff. So I hope that was a quick a rundown for everybody. If you liked that, please tap the screen and give me some likes. So now we're back on this. Let's see here. Okay. I hope that answered it. Do I ever do any DLA? I hope all is well. Things are absolutely wonderful, Creole Truth. Thank you very much. I hope they're well with you too, my friend. What is the DIBS website? The DIBS website is Defense Logistic Agency.mil, I think. And they're going to post stuff on sam.gov too, but you do need to be registered for them to do stuff with the Defense Logistics Agency. I'm pretty sure that's there. Yeah, www. DLA Defense Logistic Agency .mil or dibs.bsm.dla.mil. What is the DIBS website? That's what it is, Dylan. Do you suggest any other sites other than sam.gov? Yes, so Unison is also another really good one. They'll post the stuff on sam.gov, but Unison is really, really good because it's a... How do I explain Unison? So Unison is UNISON marketplace. And it's a government, someone runs the website for them, but the government posts jobs and also products that they need on there. And it has a counter that counts down. And what it is it's a backwards auction. So what happens is, let's say we've got Nick, I'm Nick, and we've got Shay. So Nick and Shay, the government wants, and I use paper a lot, I don't know why, but we're just gonna say, the government wants 1 box of paper. So they go, okay, everybody, we want 1 box of paper. Nick goes, okay, I can sell you that box of paper for $100, but I could still sell you that box of paper for $20 and I can still make money. But I'm going to try to go as high as I can. So with the reverse auction, you put in your top price and you put in your low price. Then Shay says, you know what? I could do that box of paper for $50, but I could also sell it for $10. So when the bid closes, the computer's going to go, okay, Shay's at 200. Oh, Nick's at 100. Oh, Nick's at 50. Oh, Nick's at 20. Oh, Shay's at 10. Boom. And wherever it ends on whoever's the lowest is who's going to get the bid. So that's how it works as a reverse auction. So Unison is another great site because one nice thing is as you're bidding, you can change your pricing. And as more people bid, you can go back and check and you can see if you're winning or not. So you can literally keep squeaking your margins down as low as you can until you're like, okay, I can't do that for any cheaper. Then you know you're out of the game and you move on to the next one. So Unison is a really cool site to easily be able to see what other people kind of pricing they're doing. I hope that answered your question, Shay. So Unison Marketplace is a really good one. And you just go on there and once you have to be registered for SAM to be able to bid on stuff, but you can just get on Unison and go check it out and even get registered there. Everybody, once again, tap that screen like crazy. Give me some likes. Make sure when you're tapping it, you'll see your little bar thermometer start filling up. Tap that thing as fast as you can until you fill that bar up, and then there'll be some confetti that blows up. It's really cool. Let's see. What is the best website for... So let's see. Dylan said, what is the best website for products contracts? So sam.gov has tons of products on there, but Unison also has tons and tons of products on there right now. Let's see. All opportunities. There's 127 reverse auction items on there right now. So anything from battery room restock, so they need a bunch of batteries. They need a long block for a C7 Caterpillar. They need office furniture. They need a caterer to do prepared meals, a camera system, dumpster services, grease interceptor cleaning. I don't know, that doesn't sound very nice. Web-based EFAX. They need 25 personnel. Fire sprinkler and piping and fittings. Zero Air Generator, work desks, utility trailers. There's pages and pages and pages of stuff on there. So Unison is a really good place to go. Right on, guys. Thank you for the likes. And then same thing. If you're not following us, make sure you start following us. So that's a really good website for products, but also sam.gov has got a lot of products. Odd question, but why are there so many minority or African individuals that are in government contracting? I don't know. I think it's a good question. I think there's more that are interested in getting into it, and I'm not gonna speculate on why. There's a lot of people that are thinking about getting into it, but you know what? Honestly, a lot of people think they're like, oh, they give all the contracts away to minorities. Minorities, if you're a minority or African American, honestly, there's not contracts that come out that are specifically for you. It's tough. I mean, I'm a minority. They don't come out for you. They don't ask. They don't say, we don't want non-white people to bid on this. They do not. Veterans and women, most definitely. Disadvantaged people that live in like HUD zones or like typically poorer areas, they might have an advantage. But just because you're a minority doesn't really mean anything in the contracting world. It's a nice thing to have to be able to say, because they do have to meet their quotas, but that's not something they give them away to. And really, the majority of people doing government contracting, I would say, are Caucasian people. So I think there's a lot of minorities that are very interested in it, and there's a lot of minority influencers that talk about it and give information, I think. But I don't think there's really that many actually doing it as you would possibly think. But that's just my opinion, and being around, going to different job site meetings and different site visits and being on fires, I don't really see very many minorities absolutely ever, which is funny because a lot of people always comment on my videos like, oh, that'd be nice if we get the contract, but they don't give them to white people. And, really, I think the majority of the people actually bidding on contracts, I would say, are not what the government says are minorities. So that's just my opinion and what I look at. But there is a lot of minorities that are interested in it. Whether they're doing it or not, I don't know and I can't say. But I would say, just from my personal experience and being in it for the last 6 years and going to site visits and conventions and all kinds of stuff, I don't really see any minorities doing it. And there's a lot of people that'll tell you, oh, if you're a minority, you get an advantage over people when you're doing government contracting. That's not the case. It's good, and I think minorities should most definitely be going after government contracts and bidding and doing all this stuff. But the scale is definitely not tipped in their favor. It's when it comes down to government contracting, it's price. Price is king. Whoever's the cheapest and will do the job for the cheapest is who gets the contract. That's just the way it is. Let's see. Next question. Okay, let's see. Why? Okay, so odd question. Allison Kane, why are you saying Unison? Allison, I was saying Unison because somebody asked a good place to find just products, and Unison has a lot of products on it. Sam.gov also has products, but if you're looking to just get into the product thing, and once again, the nice thing about Unison is you can kind of see in real time as things are closing what prices are doing. So that's a really good one. Miami, hey, do you need certifications to seal? I'm guessing you mean sell. No, you do not. Sell products. No, you do not. Miami. Is this sam.gov? Yes. The finer things, this is sam.gov. What a priestess. Yes, many laugh out loud. Why does it matter? Oh, about minorities? Yeah, I don't know why it mattered. He's just asking, I think. Because we were tired of slaving for pennies. That's right. Yeah, and that's what, I'm trying to get this information out to people. Mostly because government contracting completely changed my life. So, and there's a lot of government contractors that are really tight-lipped about what's going on and how they're making money. because most of those people have a lack mindset. So I'm of an abundance mindset, and there's most definitely this $500 billion government pie of money that they spend every year. I'm never, ever going to eat all of that, and nor could I. So getting the information out to everybody, I want everybody to try to get into this, and I want everybody to succeed, and I want everybody to start bidding on contracts and get financial freedom and get out from the rat race and quit slaving away for pennies and all the things that everybody's saying here. It's really a wonderful way of life, and I work for myself. I do what I want when I want to, and I get out what I put in. It's enough of, and I've said it a couple times, it's so much so that in 2018 I was working for slaving away for wages at a auto parts store, and now I'm like, this November I'm moving my family to a beautiful island in Asia to go live on the beach for the winter, and continue government contracting, but as I want to, when I want to, or not doing it if I want to. And that's something I could have never, ever guessed that would be happening 6 years ago. I would have never looked at that going, wow, I'd have a house that's paid off, and have rentals, and I'd be moving to go just play with my kids on the beach and surf every morning and live like a king and be doing the things that we're meant to be doing. So that's what government contracting has done for me, and I'm not saying it's 100% going to do the same for you, and I don't ever want people to think that I'm selling a get-rich-quick scheme, because you can get rich, but you're going to have to take your lumps and you're going to have to put in your time. You're going to get out of it just like anything else in life. You're going to get out what you put in. So I'm just here to kind of direct people, and then also, with my content, just open people's eyes to different opportunities that there are, and not necessarily that just because it worked for me, it's going to work for you, but I feel that it could, because it worked for me, and I'm somebody who did classic education of what America what constitutes, or what America considers a good education. I dropped out after my freshman year of high school, and have been an entrepreneur ever since. So as far as, people thinking, that's where I really want to empower people. Just because you were told when you were younger you weren't smart, or because you didn't fit in school, you felt that you weren't smart or whatever. I 100% believe in you, and if I can be living the life that I'm living and doing the things that I'm doing, and this is how I did it, whether or not it's going to work for you, I don't know, but I 100% believe in you, because if I can do it, I promise you can do it. Anybody can do it if I can do it. I promise you. So that's the main reason, is I'm here to serve and also empower people, and you are a badass mofo, and you can do anything that you put your mind to. I promise you. Okay, Finer Things. Let's see. Finer Things said that's a troll question. I didn't think that was GPA. Wasn't troll a question. Look all over the internet and YouTube. Most are non-white. Most people are non-white that are talking about it. And I don't know why that is. There is one white guy and then myself, and the rest, most everybody else are African Americans. I think they just, I don't know. I honestly don't know why that is. I think a lot of them too, so I did an interview with a friend of mine, Kizzy Parks. She's got a big thing on YouTube. I don't know if you guys have seen that interview, but that's a good one, and it kind of gives a good deep dive into how I got started, more than I guess I've already told you. But go to Kizzy Parks, go follow her, go check out her channel. She's also on TikTok. But, at least I could speak for Kizzy because I know her personally. She's here to do the same thing. She wants to empower people and go, hey, let's rise up out of this, out of poverty, or let's rise up out of this slaving away for the man, and, slaving away for pennies, and just living the same life day over and over and over again until you die. I think she's passionate about it, and she wants to, empower people and bring them up and out. So I can tell you that's why I do it, and that's why she does it. It's not racist question or nothing, just based off what I'm seeing on the internet. Laugh out loud. Yeah, GPA, you're totally right. You're 100% right, and I didn't take that as a troll question at all. You guys be nice. This is a safe space. Be nice to people. Everybody, once again, we're going to go down. We got 25 things down below. See, this is awesome. Once we start getting people in here, the questions start flowing and we get these really good dialogues going. So once again, everybody that's in here, we got 30 people. Everybody tap their screen like crazy. That little bar is going to start to fill up here for you. Tap it until it fills up all the way and confetti explodes. Because once again, the more people we get, the more questions we get asked, and we get this really good dialogue going. Thank you, guys. I just bid on the 57 parking. Let's see, the finer things. I just bid on the 57 parking for GSA, and I'm black. Hey, right on, finer things. That's awesome. 57 parking spots. I don't know, you own that or... Oh, I gotta... Hold on, guys. They're trying to end my live here. Continue. Okay, cool. We're back on. That's awesome. Right on, the finer things. Once again, any help that I can give, totally cool. I'm glad you must be doing something with the GSA. I haven't... I've been on some for the GSA, but I don't have any GSA schedules where I'm just like in their system. That is another thing to do. That's awesome, finer things. I am stoked for you. If most, let's see here. Wow, we got a lot of stuff going on. Okay, if most set-asides are 5 to 10% of the contracts, that means, Allison, I couldn't speak to that percentage. I don't know. So Allison said if most set-asides are 5 to 10% of contracts, that means 90 to 95% of the contracts are received by Caucasians. That could be true. Once again, like I said, from my experience, I don't see many, out on fires, there's a lot of Hispanic people, but I don't know if they're more working and they're not necessarily getting the contracts. There is quite a few Hispanic owners of firefighting companies, but the majority of people that I see are Caucasians, which it is what it is. And it's not that they're getting contracts over other people, because it's all about pricing. If somebody bids a lower price than somebody else, guess what? They're going to get the work. So that's really what it comes down to. Gotcha, Allison. Does Unison charge for the platform? So Unison, to use Unison, no, they do not. But they do charge a percentage, and I can't remember what their percentage is. But they charge a percentage on top of your contract that you get, but you don't have to pay it until you get paid. And here's the other thing. Once you put in your bid number, like I said, they automatically add that onto your bid, which means they're going to add that automatically onto everybody's bid. So it's not like you have to do math to figure out how much you need to pay them. Whatever your bid is, they will subtract that. They will add that on and then subtract that out when you get paid. How do I get into selling firearms to the government? Do I need an FFL? Dylan, I could not answer that question for you, my man. I see lots of contracts for weapons. Me personally, just because of my the way I look at life, I was in the Marine Corps, and I was around guns my whole life. Guns were my life since I was a little kid, and then once again, like I said, I was in the Marine Corps. And since getting out, my personal feeling with weapons is, I don't, just personally, me personally, and there's no judgment, because there was a point in my life where I would have been happy to sell firearms to the government. I don't personally do anything with the government if it could possibly hurt somebody or kill another human being. So I'm not one to speak on that. I do see them on sam.gov all the time. You'd have to look that up, and I'm guessing you probably would need an FFL. Just guessing, but I don't know. That's all for you to look up, and I have no idea about selling stuff to them. I at one point was maybe gonna do some stuff out of a machine shop that I had, but then I decided against that. There was a bunch of machine gun parts they wanted built, and I had the blueprints, and I had the CNC machines, and I had the guys to make them. And I could have competed in that, but then I kind of had a little bit of epiphany, and just decided if there's things that are going to hurt people, I'm not doing. Was just asking, bro. Construction is full of white people. All right, let's not argue here, folks. This is a safe place, and there's no stupid questions. Once again, okay. GPA, yeah, I don't think the finer things, I don't think GPA was trying to be rude or racist about that. At least I didn't take it that way. And if somebody else did, you know, everybody's entitled to their opinion. But I don't think that he was. I think he or she was just asking a question because it was something they noticed. Because it's true. There is, most every influencer on the internet is a person of color. That has to do with government contracting. Where do I find a broker agreement for leasing? I don't know what you mean by that. I'm guessing you're asking, where do I find a broker agreement form for leasing? So I'm guessing you are leasing to the government? What are you leasing, property? Was that the 57 parking spots you were going to lease? I don't know. That's probably a really good question and I know where I would start. I would start looking on the internet for one, but also what I would most definitely do is go get a lawyer and have them write something up. The government's probably going to have a lease agreement for you already, but I would, before signing it, I would take it to a lawyer and have them check it out. Dylan, how do I do defense contracting? Dylan, you're going to have to get a business and get registered with sam.gov. That's what you need to do. Broker agreement form. Let's see. Did you just finish watching War Dogs? All it takes is one win. I'm praying for it this month. Yeah, Strawberry, hang in there. Just keep bidding them. And then one day you're going to wake up and you're going to land one and you're going to be stoked. And then all these lumps, you're gonna figure it out and you're gonna learn. Trust me. Just keep after it. Don't give up. God bless you. You're a good soul. You answered my questions last week and you really helped me. Thank you, loyal love. I really appreciate that. Allison asked, do you have a course? No, Allison, I do not have a course, but I get asked that a lot. We've got some new software coming out here pretty soon that's actually going to streamline a whole bunch of pretty much every aspect of government contracting. That's the most I can say for right now. So just hang tight. Make sure you're following us. Thank you, Strawberry, for that little teddy bear or whatever that was. Thank you very much. Once again, everybody tap that screen like crazy. Make sure you're following us. And yes, of course, so I'm going to start putting out some YouTube videos here soon. And there'll be a subscription app coming out. That's all I'm going to say. It's hard for me not to talk about it because I really want to start shouting it from the rooftops, but I'm staying quiet here. Friendship necklace, thank you. Let's see, sounds good. How much is the software going to be? Michael, you're just going to have to make sure you're following us and stay tuned. You will see here soon enough. Can I get the info on the simple search bar, sam.gov? What do you mean the info? Patriots, I'm not sure what you meant. sam.gov. Okay, so as you come into sam.gov, I'm going to grab a drink of water here real quick, everybody. Okay, so this is the first page you're going to see when you type in sam.gov and you come in. So there's many different sections and things you can look at. If you're not registered, some of these will not open for you and you cannot look at them. Contract opportunities is the main thing that we want to go look at. So we're going to click into contract opportunities, which is going to bring us into the search contract opportunities bar. Now, this is not the search that we want to be in. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put in a random letter. We're going to use the letter K for now. Just any random letter. It really does not matter. And that's going to get us into this main search, right? What I want to do is get rid of that K now, which is going to say select criteria. So over here on the side is all the different drop downs and different filters for our contracts. Now, the first one that I start with is dates. And I want to see all contracts with dates due in the next 3 months. If you don't do this, it's going to bring up contracts. It's going to bring up hundreds and thousands of contracts, and some of them are going to have been closed already. So if you do this with the next 3 months, it's going to let you know that anything that's on here, the 10,000, the 9,600, almost 10,000, we'll call it, 10,000 contracts that are on here are all not closed yet. So these are open and you're able to bid on them. So now, depending on if you don't know what you're going to get into, just scrolling through this and looking at them is a great way to do it. And if I'm going to do that, usually I'll go down and I'll change to 100 per page. and that means I've got longer times to scroll. So now, if you're doing this every day and just scrolling through it, you can go through this and go through about 10 pages. 10 pages a day is about 1,000. Sometimes there's 30 pages a day, which is 3,000. It's somewhere in between the 10 and the 30-page mark if you have 100 on there. So this is one way to go through and just look for stuff if you don't know what you're looking for. PPE, walkie lift electric stackers, bunk bed replacement. Okay, that could be an easy one. I don't know if they want you to actually get the bunk beds or just replace them for them. Let's see, other things that could potentially be something easy. Executive consulting services, install the LAN network, text messaging services. Let's see, a heat oven, crating materials, cables, assemblies, inspection services, double doors. So you can see there's tons and tons of stuff on here. Now, if you know what industry you're in and you know what that NAICS code is, you can search down here and put in your NAICS code, right? So I use a 562 sometimes, which is remediation. Now I'm going to show, it shows me 141 things that are all not closed yet in remediation. So now I can search through here and see the different remediation stuff. So the tough thing with that is that if the contracting officer didn't put in the right NAICS code, you're not going to find it. And same thing if I put in, so now, right, there's 141. Now, if I put in, if I get rid of this and I try to just do a search with remediation in here, it's going to show me 68. But we know right now that there is actually 141. So why, when I did the simple search, just keyword search, did it only bring me 68? Well, that's because this website is kind of a piece of junk and keyword searches don't really work. So it's either really, honestly, you're kind of scrolling through to check stuff out or you're putting in an NAICS code. And once again, there could be tons of stuff under that belong under that NAICS code, but if the contracting officer didn't put that in correctly, then you're kind of screwed and you're going to miss some contracts. And that's why, once again, that search thing that we're building and contract bidding tool is going to really, really come in handy. And actually, I've been using it already and it has made my job insanely easy. So yeah, just stay tuned. Make sure you're following us. We're going to be having more information on that coming out here pretty soon. I hope that answered it for you, Patriot Goddess. Thank you for all the love, you guys. What do I sell? I missed it. Okay, you're there. You're paying attention. Good. Just click on the search at the top of the page. What? Search at the top of the page. What are you talking about here? Got it. Okay, I hope everybody liked that. Thank you, Coach Kyle. Thank you, Cornfield. Oh, Devin. All right, so Hoser wants to know, how can I start government contracting? You need to get a business and you need to get registered with sam.gov. Those are the two very first things you need to do. Once you've done that, come back and talk to us and we will get you pointed in the right direction. When will the software come out? You know, with stuff, we've been developing for about a year now. So, hey, thank you very much for the little heart hugging thing there, Priestess. I really appreciate that. Or was that Priestess that gave me that? No, that was Patriot. Okay. The software will be coming out. We've been developing it for a year. I keep hearing next week, but we're instead of I'm of the thought that you make something really solid and really good, and you can either have cheap and fast or slow and expensive, or I can't remember how that's said, but we're making it really, really robust because I think we're going to have a lot of people using it. So we're like taking our time and writing the code really, really well so that there's no bugs and that it won't crash when tons of people start using it. So I don't know. Just stay tuned. You'll know. As long as you stay tuned to the channel, you will be informed when it comes out. Trust me. Thank you. When will the software come out? Hopefully here in the next couple weeks. The bidding tool and how much. I'm not going to say how much yet. It's going to be a monthly subscription, but it'll come out, and there's actually going to be a free version where we will give you access to it to actually use it for a certain amount of time. So I think we're going to give as of right now, we're going to give a 7-day free trial. And actually that, with what's there, you will be able to get all your information in and actually bid on a contract using the tool. So that's what I'm going to say for now. You'll see. Don't worry, it's coming out. Please allow us to register for the software. Yeah. Leslie, okay, wait. Leslie asked, do you mentor? Leslie, I am most definitely, that's what I'm doing here is to mentor people and kind of give them guidance. You can direct message me, and I'm more than happy through direct messaging, whether it's on YouTube. Once again, same thing, everybody. Go sign up. I'm on YouTube. Go subscribe to that. Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all those things. Go sign up on them. I'm GovGuyNick on all of those. Like I said, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. And please go sign up or follow me or become a friend or all the different stuff on all of those. And you can direct message me through any of those social media platforms. But for one-on-one phone calls and for Zoom meetings, which I prefer Zoom because then I can show you my computer. We can kind of go through stuff. I do charge my hourly rate. Please allow us to register for the software. Yeah, most definitely, Loyal Love. I'll let you guys know when it comes out, and you will be on. Yeah, I'll be shouting it from the rooftops. Don't worry, you won't miss it. Cool. Well, thank you very much for the follows. Does anybody else have any other questions before I punch out? Thank you. You're welcome, Priestess. Thank you. Once again, everybody, I'm just going to close with, government contracting is not as scary or as hard as it seems. It can be very lucrative, and it was a way that me and my family found financial independence. What time will I be in tomorrow? Late, I don't know, probably around between 10 and 11, somewhere in there. Just depends on what I got going on in the morning. I take my kids to school and make them breakfast and go to the gym and do all my stuff before I come in the office. So, government contracting has helped me gain financial independence, and it's not that hard and it's not that scary. It just takes a little while to learn about it, and I'm trying to give you a little bit of a leg up so that you don't have to go through all the same things that I did, because all this stuff I had to learn on my own. So that's what I'm here for. So once again, I completely believe in you guys. I love you all, and I love hearing about your success stories. Go kick some ass and take some names. Osama, you can direct message me and talk to me about one-on-one time. All right, thank you guys. I love you all. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.